Greetings, I'm Demonac, and it's arena time. And according to my playlists, I'm pretty sure the class here I've played least recently is actually Warlock. Although, I don't play Rogue as often, apparently. When given two even choices, I'm less likely to take Rogue, so taking Rogue would also have been legit. But I've been deprioritizing Warlock more lately because I've been having a hard time with them in the arena. So this is a Warlock card. Usually a class card is going to have more points and be more valuable than non-neutral cards, but she's a little weird. Like 3/2 for 2, but you have to discard a card. Then when she dies, you get back a card, but I don't like losing a card at random. That can hurt. On the other hand, it's the arena, so my random card is probably not as valuable, but she's not like giving you power for getting her. So I don't actually think that's that good. I think I'm going to take the Injured Blade Master of all things. I just don't, that 2/2 that makes her the summoner, I don't find her that great. You are expensive. You are expensive and horrible. This guy is actually, like, he's fine. I personally don't like him. I don't know why, because he's fine. His ability has a very strong impact on the next turn, and a 5/5 for 6 is not terrible given that strong impact on the next turn. But we're going to take Lowly Squire because it's more weenie-ish, even though Inspire with a Warlock I don't consider as good usually. Let's take the Spectral Knight, though. He's cool. I'm unlikely to have buffs for the Gargoyle, which is the only thing that makes it good. Harvest Golem is pretty solid, but we're going to take Floating Watcher, because he's cool. Also, if I could get something like a Madness or whatever, Spreading Madness, that would be cool. I don't like you. You're kind of overpriced. Like, I've come to just not like this. For an 8-mana neutral minion, I would rather have, like, the 6/10 than this guy who is a 7/7 who might have 1 extra hit point or 10 extra hit points, depending on what the situation is, but is usually 1 extra hit point from that shield. And of course, mechs are less good now that gnomes and goblins are out. I'm going to take the Volcanic Drake, though. What the hell? I don't know. Randomness. I like. Spider Tank is satisfying sized. This guy, it's so annoying that his Shadow Beast isn't even a demon. Not that that's likely to matter in the arena. Succubus, I don't like losing that card at random. If there was a way to choose and discard the card, I would value this very differently. Losing a random card is just terrible. It's horribly annoying. Losing a card anyway for a minion that just that little bit of extra size is not that good. If she was a 3/4, it would probably be worth it, but it's not. We're going to take the Voodoo Doctor. That 2 points of healing is pretty good as a Warlock. This guy is the same size as the Succubus, same casting cost, and he's actually also really terrible. Later in the game, at least, the Succubus, you can often play her, and like when you can empty your hand first and then play her, and there's no cost. This guy is always going to end up doing at least 3 damage to you, unless you actually win the game without him dying. Sometimes he can do 8 damage to you or something if he runs into a really big minion. It's bad. If you can draw me a card, I'm not liking my cards so far. We'll take the Tentacle if there might be a situation where I want a Tentacle. This guy does give a lot of spell power, but I guess we're going to go with the Volcanic Drake instead, because I don't know what damaging spells I'm going to have. Okay, this row is more interesting. So we go with the Abomination, because I'm starting to have a lot of Volcanic Drakes, and they like it when a lot of things die. Corrupted Healbot, probably not helping too much. The Implosion is so random, and I hate it. It's very expensive if you play this and you only get 2 damage and imps. And it's really frustrating, because if it's going to do 3 or 4 damage, you would target something bigger. You don't really want to spend this on something that only has 2 hit points left, because you might roll low and not get it killed. But you don't want to use it on something that has the 3 or 4 hit points because, you either use it on something with 2 hit points left and some of the damage is probably wasted, or you use it on something that has more than 2 hit points left and you might fail to kill them. I hate it. I hate that kind of randomness. It's also like exponential randomness. Like if you roll a 4, it's huge power, even if you are wasting some of the damage, because 4 imps is a lot. Abomination versus... We're going to take the Implosion. I don't know. Whatever. I talked about it too much. We might as well just take it. You are terrible. You are a horrible card, although it's also an amazingly powerful hoser. If you're newer to these videos, if my opponent has a Floating Watcher out, this just says destroy a demon. It's not sacrifice a demon like in Magic the Gathering, where it's got to be something you control. If my opponent has a Floating Watcher, I can blow up their Floating Watcher, and I gain 5 health. Which is stupid. As game design, I think that is shit. Okay? Just terrible, and it gets worse. Because there's a Warlock legend that you play that replaces your character with Mal'Ganis, who is like a demon. Well, now your type is demon. Your opponent could literally play a sacrificial pact and kill you. So if you have Mal'Ganis and you're up against another Warlock, you gotta just not play it, basically. Just the levels of stupidity of this card. It's terrible. This guy has a horrible drawback. I guess we're taking a crap around Craft Mage of crap. I hate his stats. He's bad. This guy's pretty good, though. He's a 3/5 for 4, which is fine. And his Enrage, he's likely to take damage and survive, which means he'll get the +2 attack. He'll probably do something with that, too. Oh my god, this run is so... I'm getting so many bad cards. You are bad. You're bad, and your orc parents should feel bad. You are terrible for the cost. 4 health to yourself. I mean, as a Warlock, that might be slightly more valuable. But no, you're still horrible for the cost. I guess we'll take the Hungry Dragon, which can screw me by giving my opponent a strong minion, potentially. These are all excellent cards. There have been like 3 rows where I had not a single card as good as the worst of these. I don't know what the worst of these is. They're all good. This guy can pop out a floating watcher, or potentially other demons. I'll probably get more of him or something when he dies. This guy is just a good weenie. I have like no 2-cost guys. 2-cost strong minions are like the core of weenieing. One of my 3-costs is this idiot who sucks. Oh my god. The Power Overwhelming is excellent. Just flat out excellent. And it's very flexible. So I don't know what to take out of this row. I need the 2-cost probably more than anything, but it seems really weak to take him over Power Overwhelming. Let's take the Power Overwhelming. There are a lot of things that can be a good 2-cost minion. There are not that many things that are Power Overwhelming. That's the theory. Harvest Golem is pretty good. I think I might take the Darkshire Councilman. I'm not going to have any combos to spawn a lot of minions at once, but he's just kind of solid. You play him. If you play one other minion, he's a 2/5, which is probably about as good as the spread out over time stats you get from him. And then, yeah, if you get more things, he can be pretty big. So, yeah, he's cool. Everything in this row is better than a lot of those other rows I had. Do I want a big demon? I didn't take the guy that drops the demon from my hand when he dies, so maybe not as much. This guy can give me more imps, which does work with the Darkshire Councilman, as does the Implosion. I would like to have the Void Walker, but I already have a lot more 1-cost minions than I normally play with anyway, so let's take the Gang Boss. Sacrificial Pact. Cheese! Although, again, now I have Imp Guy and Implosion, so I have a lot of things that can make me cheapo demons that I can sacrifice for 5 health. But I don't want a card in my deck that just gives my hero 5 health. I can't heal minions, and I have to lose something to do it. Now, you could get rid of a demon that has a drawback, but I try and avoid those anyway. So, this is really garbage unless I run into an enemy Warlock and I want to hose them. So, screw that. Demon Fire, I have like nothing right now that I can use to just do 2 damage to an enemy minion. So, I might have to take the Demon Fire. Even though Power Overwhelming is often a much better way to kill things, this does require that I have something on the board that can attack. And if I only had a good minion on the board, then I would be losing that minion at the end of the turn, which is probably bad. Demon Fire, it can also, I'm going to have a lot of ways, I have a number of ways to get 1/1 imps. I could turn one of them into a 3/3. Let's just take the Demon Fire. I need that ability to kill something when I have nothing on the board. This guy is really interesting. I don't know if he's the card for the Warlock deck necessarily, but yeah, he's a horrible cost as it stands, but every turn that he's in your hand, he gets cheaper. If he's in your hand for 2 turns, then he's actually pretty decent for the cost, although the fact that he sat in your hand for 2 turns without being useful to you is bad. If he's in your hand for 3 turns, which happens very fast if he was at the start of the game, then suddenly he's very cheap for a 4/4, and he just keeps getting cheaper. You can hang on to him for a while and play him for like 1 or 2 mana. But if you get him in your starting hand, you can play him like turn 3. That's kick-ass. I don't know if that's what my deck needs, though. Flesh-Eating Ghoul would probably be, like, I normally poo-poo this thing, it's not very interesting, but with all the imps from this, it could be valuable. I think actually I'm going to take the Twisted Worgen, though, because I have so few 2-cost minions, he could come out, probably not die, probably kill an enemy thing, and that's actually what I need, I think. It says, Villager, you are too tiny for me to be relevant for me. You do work well with the Darkshire Councilman, because if I have the Councilman out, I play this guy, that gives the Councilman +1. Then when he dies, I get a new minion, that gives the Councilman +1. Christopher Fahm is weird. There's not enough there's basically nothing else that or almost nothing else that can make your opponent's stuff more expensive or make them spend mana. So really you're paying 2 mana to make your opponent take 2 damage and then pay 2 mana. Which, I mean, it's always going to do 2 damage the first time, so it's not terrible, but eh. We're going to take Mortal Coil because it could draw me a card. Renounce Darkness. What a goddamn random card to play in the arena, but my deck's so bad I'd be tempted, except that my deck's badness is almost all neutral cards. This literally, you renounce Darkness, you just renounce being a Warlock. Takes every Warlock card in your deck and your hero power and changes them for another class's hero power, and just random ass cards from your opponent's class, from the random class, not your opponent's class, from the random class that it chooses. And those cards cost 1 less, which is kind of cool. But you're getting random ass cards in the arena, though. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm not going to have that many Warlock cards. I don't see this as being a viable strategy. This guy's not a death machine. This guy takes a lot of work to get going. He is not a great pick in the arena, but he's a terrible pick in constructed. In the arena, like, he's a 2/8 when he comes into play, so your opponent can kill him without too much difficulty. Like, he's only hitting back for 2 if they have a couple of decent-sized minions. If he lives, then when he can attack, it'll be attacking as 4. And then if he lived again, then he starts getting huge. But yeah, that's a lot of ifs. This guy's just a 3/3 taunt, but if he's +1 health for each opponent minion, he's probably a 3/5 taunt-ish. Maybe more, but if they have more minions than that, then he's not going to do much. Oh, what a weird... This is such a messed up, like, run. I don't want to take the Renounce Darkness, though. It's not going to do enough for me. It doesn't itself draw a card, even. Like, if this was and draw a card, then it'd be like, okay, I'll take it. But I'm losing a card to do that. That's... we'll just take this guy because he's generically okay. This has low chances of surviving that long. If I had Dragon combos, maybe. I need the Mechanical Yeti for fighting, but I need the Hellfire because I have no way to control the board, like, at all. I'm going to take the Hellfire because it's harder to get things that do that than it is to get things that do what the Yeti does, which is just be a Yeti. Flame Imp, I hate you. I don't want to take 3 damage for a minion that is just a tiny bit larger than what I could already get for that cost. I don't care what demons that much. You can do a bunch of damage. You compare it to that 6/8 the 2/8 dragon. This is harder to kill, but this does 8 damage if it lives for 1 turn. And you could potentially do 4 damage to your opponent and then trade it to kill a minion or something. Although it is easier to kill it before it goes off. It's also, you know, easy to buff either one of them. We're going to take the Abusive Sergeant because he's awesome. Whatever. I don't care. This is looking really stupid. You have to beat your opponent down pretty fast to make this guy really good. I don't have that many mechs. I've got the Spider Tank and the Spider Tank and the Spider Tank. So this is probably not going to be that good. This guy is too fragile. I mean, he's not necessarily a bad arena pick, and I want 2-cost minions right now, but I'd rather have ones that will trade favorably and have more than 1 hit point. We're going to take the Crusher. More big guys would be okay. I'm not going to have enough mechs to make Gorilla Bot work. Cross with Warlord's pretty awesome, though. I don't have buffs for you. Unless I power overwhelming you, you do +1/+1 for that 1 attack. Yay. Booty Bay Bodyguard is terrible for the cost. I guess we'll take the Harpy. It might kill someone. Another Darkshire Councilman, that's pretty good. That's fine. Another Floating Watcher or Spectral Knight. I don't have a lot of things that combo with the Floating Watcher. It's basically just Inspire for me. Like, pay 2 mana, take 2 damage, draw a card, and he gets bigger. My hero power. Since demons, my demons aren't so specially fantastic that I want to play this, so Spectral Knight could be annoying, but we'll take the Floating Watcher. Why not? I think I'm going to need Psychotron to defend me because my deck is going to suck and I'm going to be dying all the time. Discovering a Beast, that is another card that is pretty valuable compared to a Taunt who I don't really like for the casting cost that much. I could take the Tentacle of Inzoth and try and embrace having a lot of things die so that I could get out my the Volcanic Drakes, but no. I'm gonna take the Tomb Spider so I get more card advantage. And oh yay. I can get 1/1s for spells, which I do have 2 Councilmans. I don't have that many spells, especially since the spell that does 3 damage to everything wouldn't help with this as much. Defender of Argus could help me. I'm likely to have enough to have multiple minions out that I can use for that, even if some of them are going to be tiny. Getting more minions or buffing the minions that I have because I have more of them, hopefully. She's much better for her casting cost than he is usually. but he gives out the taunts, which could be useful, because I'm going to be dying. I think this deck is horrible either way. How many spells do I have? 1, 2, 3... Oh, it doesn't count for this purpose. 4... I do not have enough spells. Let's just take him. Oh my god. I do not like this deck. I think I got screwed. There were a lot of just terrible, terrible rows. I find Warlock tends to be a little bit weaker in the arena anyway because so many of their cards have drawbacks. And in a constructed deck, you can try to tune your deck to work around those disadvantages. In the arena, you can try to tune your deck to get like combos going and to make them more likely to succeed, but working around disadvantages is really hard. Like, making the combos work is hard, but without the combos, it's like, it could be worse. If you have these sometimes horrible drawbacks, and you don't have ways to mitigate them, they're just horrible, horrible drawbacks.
Gul'dan versus Malfurion.
I do not have high hopes for this run.
Your soul shall be mine!
Oh yay, my opponent can do 1 damage with their hero power, so this is just sitting there to basically just allow him to control when he wants to do a bunch of damage to everything on the board. Or he can just kill it for cheap. These things in my hand are too expensive. I can't do anything useful for multiple turns at this rate. Yeah. Woohoo! Squelch. It's important that you squelch your opponent because I have zero interest in the pathetic, hollow facsimile of communication offered by the emotes. They basically just exist to be annoying. Yeah, predictably he will shapeshift and kill that thing, and then I will do nothing other than draw a card, because I'm probably not going to draw one of my very few 2-cost minions. You know, I could play him, but why when I'm at full health? Next turn, I can draw a card and then heal for 2. Or more likely play the Imp Gang boss, because that's actually a solid turn 3 play, I think. That's unpleasant, because my opponent can... Because he'll gain +1 health when my opponent activates Shapeshift, and that will allow him to kill this guy, have his guy survive, and just generally be annoying. I'm going to do that anyway. So yeah, he Kung Fu's my guy. I end up with 2 imps, but his guy would survive. Actually, because I end up with the imps, because every time this guy takes damage he gives me a 1/1 imp, I would be able to finish this off. So actually that turn is not as impressive as I thought it was. I thought my opponent just had his number completely, but actually, yeah, I would get the imps to finish this guy off, so not the end of the world. Are you going to do something else instead? You are going to Tentacle. Okay. Ensuring that my imps will presumably die. Alright, well, joke's on you. I'm going to hit you for 1. And then I'm going to suicide this guy and kill off all the imps. And then I'm going to play him for super cheap. And why not heal myself for 2? I don't really need the help. He could probably do something more useful later, but I'd like to get that on the board. So now I have a decent-sized minion and a small minion. If my opponent has a swipe, I will be annoyed, because it will perfectly execute my army. Just, like, flawlessly. It just works out so nice. It does 4 damage to one thing and 1 damage to everything else. Now, is this a big enough army to be worth doing that? I don't know. Because if my opponent had anything of their own in play, then using a swipe to kill my army right now would be incredibly valuable. Since he doesn't have any minions out there to take advantage of a clear board, using a swipe to kill this stuff would not be as good. So what is he going to do to deal with my slightly surprisingly early 6/4? Make a Black Panther. Gotcha. Vibranium and stuff. So that plus Kung Fu could kill this. That's unfortunate. I could play this, and then, depending on whether my opponent gets a valuable minion or a crap minion, I could use this guy to kill it off. Or I could play this guy and draw a card. I could play him, but then he'd be vulnerable because he'd be 4/4. I'd rather play him when I have 7 mana, so I can play him and then draw a card right away and get him going. I could play this guy, maybe get a 1-cost beast. I don't think that's likely to work out. Plus, he's easily killed by the Panther. So, I think we're going to do this and draw a card. I think that's probably the best move right now. Which means I should have drawn the card first. It's kind of stupid to do it in this order. Hit you for 6. Why not? My army is a little bit less fragile now. They're not both going to die to swipe, unless he's going to trade his Panther, in which case it works out the same. This way I got to hit him for 6. Smashy, smashy. That's right. I used your own tentacle against you. Did you enjoy it? Stupid tentacles.
Get behind me.
Okay, interesting. Hey, Mortal Coil. That plus this means I could kill that and draw a card. Sweet. I think I like that plan. Although, would I play with... Yeah. Could be better, but could be worse. Otherwise, I gotta, like, power overwhelming him, or I'd have to trade this guy. I don't want to trade this guy. Although, then again, this guy, and then use him to kill that, and then I have board control. Hold on, that's a different story, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, never mind. I'm actually happy with that plan. That's fine. Now, which do I play? I don't want to play him, because my opponent will get a random minion. It could screw me. I could play one of these guys and draw a card, or probably one of those and draw a card. If I'm going to draw a card, I might as well do this. I could also play him without any protection, but I don't like that. Implosion. I'll keep that in mind. Let's just play the Berserker.
It's time for a lot of blood.
Berserker, Berserker. I don't know if that was a great play. I wish I'd had the implosion in my hand first, because using that to blow up the one of those things would have made it work a lot better. That's very defensive and annoying of you. I have to make sure that guy dies. Although he's a good way to trigger this guy's enrage. That big moat in like 2 turns. But what we want to do is this. And draw a card. Because whenever I take damage on my turn, he gets +2/+2. Meanwhile, this guy takes 1 damage, but gets +2 attack. That only enrages either on or off. So he's not going to get +2 every time. There is a troll that does that, the 2/7 guy, but his ability isn't even called Enrage. It is a different ability. It's just whenever he takes damage, he gets +3 attack. But yeah, this guy's a good size now. He's big enough to kill her. If nothing else happens. Or him. Yeah, he's like a male medic. Shouldn't be, like, sexist. Although, yeah, it is a troll. You can tell. Oh, that's annoying. No, are you going to kill my super big guy? You are. You dink. Wait, are you leaving him alive? Because that seems like a mistake. Okay. Apparently you're leaving him alive. So, that's a thing. I want an implosion, but I could have this guy out protecting him, which would be fantastic. I do really want this guy dead, though. He's going to keep getting bigger, and that would be annoying. I'll have to take a risk that he's okay for a turn. So let's, I'm going to be drawing a card first anyway.
I wonder.
I'm drawing a card to make him bigger, so let's do that. Ooh, nice. Then we're going to implosion, blow the crap out of this thing, and hopefully get some imps. Maybe should have just played him instead, but it was worth a shot. That is not as many imps as I would have liked, but then we'll also play this guy. As usual, it is still a good time for my opponent to swipe, because swipe is goddamn amazing. It would kill off all of this junk. I mean, it's not that hard to kill off all of that junk, but it would work really well and still do 4 damage to me or 4 damage to him. Okay, that's annoying. He actually did get more value than he would have from a heal bot. This guy's weird. 1/4 charge and taunt. That's a weird combination of abilities. Yeah, you can't attack the stealth one as much as you would like to. It doesn't work that way. Alright, time to murder everything. I wish I had you before I implosioned. but still, I'm going to get a cheap Drake, so it'll be fine. I do want to have this guy around to power overwhelming to get rid of that. So we're going to go...
Killing spree.
Yeah. I don't have lethal. No, there's no way I have lethal. However, I should be able to play this guy and still have him out. That's pretty good. Holy, slow down, Batman. So now if I can draw a card to boost him. He would have been better when all those guys were alive, but I don't care that much about that. Then I can Mortal Coil kill this guy, and that'll make it cheaper, so I'll still be able to do that. Makes him bigger. Well, I pound you. Yeah, so have fun. And if he's trying to take these guys out with minions or something, I do have Psychotron to protect them. Okay, Taunt Tauren. The 2/3. He gets a 2/2 slime when it dies, but the slime does not have taunt, so that's okay. I may just be killing you. You only have 16 health. All I have to do is get through him, which is pretty trivial. Yeah, I can do it however I want, really.
My shield for Argus!
All too easy. Okay, well, we got one win in the bag, so I can't get shut out. That game, it made it look like my deck was doing fine, but remember, my opponent did, like, nothing of value for the first 3 or 4 turns. He gave me plenty of time to sort of find my groove in the 3 and 4 cost sort of range, and it just did not put on any pressure. I think it'll go a little bit differently when I run into some more opposition next time. Put the hammer down on that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to Demonac Games for more Hearthstone Arena and other gaming videos.